Ahead on our news tonight, Housing Minister fires back at many criticisms over Pinecrest subdivision. Leading financial expert says financial services welcomes white paper on digital assets, and a major announcement on the Grand Lucayan to come in 7 days. Welcome to our news. Thank you for joining us. I'm Megan Shepard. Housing and Transport Minister JoBeth Colby Davis was on the defense today, firing back at recent criticism of the government's Pinecrest subdivision. Jasmine Brown reports.
Grossly exaggerated is just one of the choice terms Housing and Transport Minister JoBeth Colby Davis is using to describe what she calls inaccurate information about the Pinecrest subdivision.
Unlikely motivated by the need to sow seeds of political mischief and undermine public trust in the project.
The government is building on 43 lots in the South Beach development with homes to be valued under $200,000. The government broke ground for the subdivision in late January. In the House of Assembly last week, former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis insisted the Southern New Providence housing development is set up for disaster due to flooding in the area and was started without the necessary permits. Colby Davis insisting the homes are built to the highest standards.
And while we are open to criticism and feedback, let me state that public comments by some are exaggerated.
The housing minister made the comments while leading off debate on a resolution to develop a new subdivision on more than 35 acres of land in southern New Providence. Opposition leader Michael Pintard calling for more information to be revealed about this latest housing project, like an environmental impact assessment.
That one would think that in the interest of ensuring the empowerment of these residents and in the interest of saying to this public, this is how you do it, that this resolution and the site plan that has been included would have been accompanied by several other documents.
Colby Davis says in addition to building low-cost homes for purchase, the Davis administration also plans on creating new initiatives, including a rent-to-own program. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
A leading financial expert says the financial services industry welcomes the white paper on digital assets tabled in Parliament by the government. Sasha Lightbourne spoke with her on the sidelines of a major cryptocurrency conference underway at Bahamar.
Bahamas Financial Services Board CEO Tanya McCartney says the white paper on digital transformation is a step in the right direction. In fact, in a presentation at FTX's Crypto Bahamas conference yesterday, McCartney saying the policy keeps the country in a leading position in the financial services sector in the region, noting that the government's objectives and the policy framework must be crystal clear.
We had been consulted on it through all of the various drafts of the document. We think that it's important for the government to state its objectives in the digital asset space, but also outline the framework that will make this an enabling environment for the business to grow.
Prime Minister Philip Davis tabling the white paper called The Future of Digital Assets in the Bahamas back on April 20th in the House of Assembly. Speaking to the impact of digital assets on traditional day-to-day banking, McCartney says
traditional bankers acknowledge the changes going on in the environment, and back in 2017, BFSB created a fintech working group. We believe that there are synergies between what we see developing in the digital asset space and our traditional banking and financial services system. So there are opportunities for our traditional products to be used even in the crypto or the digital asset space. We see it as a continuation of the Bahamas being innovative in the financial services space.
Prime Minister Davis says digital assets provide an opportunity for the Bahamas to leverage and build on its world-class financial services expertise, diversify the economy, engage a new generation of Bahamians, and lead the way in innovation. Reporting for our news, I'm Sasha Lightbourne.
Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper also pledging the government's commitment that the Investment Promotion and Approval Agency will be transparent, quick, responsive, and innovative in handling applications. His comments came while addressing a panel discussion at the Crypto Bahamas conference.
When we do this, it creates energy, and this is an exciting time in the Bahamas right now. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to be involved with this process to oversee the investment growth. We're seeing significant investment growth at the moment. The crypto business and digital asset industry generally has brought new energy. We've been able to pivot our already established financial services industry.
Also on the panel was Attorney General Ryan Pinder, who referenced the policy white paper on digital assets, which was recently presented to Parliament. He said the Bahamas is a trailblazer in the digital asset industry for a number of years now. He said that white paper added to this.
I think as a country, we were very well placed, and we had learned from our history, as the Deputy Prime Minister said, in financial services, in which we knew the benefit of having to be nimble and having to be reactive to a changing marketplace. But secondly, we understood that the integrity that comes with having a regulated framework was actually a very attractive thing for a fast-growing industry, and especially for those participants in the industry.
A man is dead following an early morning shooting in Grand Bahama. The incident took place just after 8:30 a.m. on Bruce Avenue, a few blocks away from downtown Freeport. Assistant Superintendent of Police Stephen Roll.
Police control received a report of a shooting incident in the Bruce Avenue area. Upon the first officers' arrival, they received information that a vehicle, gray in color, would have pulled up to a residence. A male have exited that vehicle and produced a firearm against the resident, the male of the residence. He would discharge that firearm, shooting the male about the body. And that male then would have fled to the relative residence, where he collapsed, and he was later pronounced dead.
ASP Roll says police are already following leads and hope to close the matter soon. He echoed calls made by police here in New Providence with respect to gun violence.
Just want to urge the public to put those guns down again. We cannot say that enough, because the life you save will be your very own or a family member. Okay, so we want to urge them, if you have any information on where a firearm may be or what's the firearm in their possession, contact the police. Let us come and get that firearm off the streets to save another life being lost on Grand Bahama.
Superintendent of Police Audley Peters also confirming a shooting on Soldier Road overnight. He says the incident began as a robbery.
A male was at in front of a residence in conversation with a friend.
And
the male was approached by two men, and when he saw them coming, he approached them and asked them what was the situation. Apparently an altercation ensued. One of those suspects shot that male and took his vehicle along with some other personal items. The victim was transported to the hospital where he's receiving treatment for his injuries, and that investigation is ongoing at the moment.
Peters did not confirm the make or model of the stolen vehicle. Now, despite information circulating online, he said he could not confirm if the victim was in fact a Defense Force officer.
His condition is not serious, but he's not life-threatening, rather. It's serious but not life-threatening.
A police involved a shooting, leaving one man dead. According to Superintendent of Police Audley Peters, police received a call regarding a disturbance at a local place of worship. Upon arrival, officers saw the male fitting the description traveling on Antigua Avenue.
This male had in his possession a firearm, and as a result of that, the officers called control to seek further assistance, and while doing so, they followed the male, and a short time later, the male entered into a yard west on Antigua Street, and the officers rode up and returned, and when the officers returned, the male jumped the wall from the yard and discharged his weapon at the officers. The officers, being aware of the threat towards their lives, produced their service weapons and shot the suspect.
Peters says officers also retrieved a pistol from the victim and no officers were harmed during the incident.
The victim he's in his late 20s. I understand that he's not a resident of this area.
He adds that the coroner attended the scene and following an investigation, an inquest will be conducted. And now here's our Greg Thompson with a first look at weather. Greg?
Thanks, Megan, and welcome everybody for our first look at weather on this warm Thursday evening. Temperatures almost reflective of what we had last evening, 78 degrees under mostly clear skies. The winds have fallen off easterly at 5 miles per hour, and your feels like temperature also in the mid to upper 70s. Satellite view, frontal boundary dropping near the northwest Bahamas. Some showers and thunderstorms associated with that boundary will affect the northern islands. Late tonight and into tomorrow, we expect the system to move into the northwest Bahamas and eventually stall, so we could see some more showers in our forecast tomorrow across the northwest Bahamas. But behind that, we do expect a high-pressure system to build in into the weekend. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, Western Air expands its flights to Fort Lauderdale, and inflation and VAT is taking a toll on Bahamas feeding network. That's coming up when our news returns.
Got size at 6'5". Hi, this is Shamik.
Government will make an announcement on the Grand Lucayan within a week, according to Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Chester Cooper. His comments come 3 weeks after he revealed government's intention to choose a buyer by the end of the month.
We should be making a statement in relation to the Grand Lucayan within the next 7 days.
The government ended its month-long request for proposal in March. Cooper previously said the redevelopment of the property could employ as many as 1,000 people. Inflation and the introduction of value-added tax on bread basket items is having a major impact on one of the country's top feeding programs. Bahamas Feeding Network Executive Director Lester Ferguson.
Absolutely.
To what extent?
Yeah, well, now we have to pay VAT on breadbasket items, so that has certainly impacted our bottom line. Of course, the price of food has gone up because of shipping and other factors, and so it costs more. It costs more to provide the kind of food resources. The good thing about it is that we're able to, because we're now a network, we're able to get better pricing because we are buying in bulk for all of these organizations, so we can leverage some better pricing. But certainly, our food bill has gone up.
Ferguson made the comments on the sidelines of an event to mark the non-profit organization moving into its new Fox Hill headquarters. Ferguson says on average they give out 60,000 food parcels a month, and it's getting costlier.
Each month we spend, we provide at least, and this is just from purchases and not the in-kind, at least over $125,000 a month, right? And we're probably, if we compare that with what we did before the pandemic, we're probably seeing anywhere from 12 to 15% increase over that amount.
Starting next month, South Florida travelers will have one more travel option. A domestic airline is getting ready to add an international stop to their service. Jerome Sawyer tells us more.
In a post-COVID market, Western Air is keeping a busy schedule.
It's a different time, but we are excited to see that the travel demands are back.
And that return includes expanded service. Come May 19th, Western Air will be operating 2 daily flights to Fort Lauderdale, a favorite destination with Bahamians.
For shopping, for shipping, for business, also to connect to other places throughout the U.S. and into other areas throughout the world.
VP of Operations Rexy Roll led the year-long process to get the domestic airline ready to crack the international market.
Those required approvals on the U.S. side as well as the civil aviation side, we knew we were ready to go. And then it was also preparing to get additional aircrafts, and that's what we see now.
Busy market indeed, dominated by Bahamas Air and U.S. Airlines. Roll's team has a bit of an unconventional introductory strategy.
We are different. We provide a different service and we have more flexible ticket options, and that's what we are pushing. We have a great introductory rate, which will allow us to have free checked bag. We will also make all tickets open, so the ticket is valid for 6 months, so there's no change fees, no cancellation fees, no penalties. You will never lose a ticket again.
So the airline is hoping to introduce some incentives that they hope will boost traffic into the South Florida market. So starting in May, they'll be offering, of course, the twice daily flights into South Florida, except on Tuesdays and Saturdays. They will also be offering the first check bag for free. But here's the kicker. Flexibility in tickets with open tickets, which they hope will get travelers to certainly utilize the service and jump on board. So come May 19th, Western Air will be saying welcome aboard to South Florida. Reporting for our news, I'm Jerome Sawyer.
When our news comes back from the break, our Marcellus Hall is queued up with tonight's sports report. And watch out for a special on digital transformation. We have the details when our news returns.
Got size at 6'5". Hi, this is Salute.
This is our news. Welcome back. Our Marcellus Hall is up next with the latest in sports.
All right, thanks a lot, and welcome to our sports, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. You have to go all the way back to 1961. That's the last time two Bahamians graced a Major League Baseball field together. Last night it happened once again as Jazz Chisholm of the Miami Marlins visited the Washington Nationals and their shortstop, Lucius Fox. The two players on the field as starting opposing players, and so far things turned out pretty well. Let's take a look at last night's highlights. For the first time since 1961, two Bahamians taking the field as major leaguers. Jazz Chisholm making his customary start at second base for the Miami Marlins as they were on the road taking on Lucius Fox, who started at shortstop, and the Washington Nationals. The two teams going at it for the second game in their three-game set. Marlins getting it done as they were able to hold on for the win here. 2-1 ends up being your final score. How about our Bahamians? Jazz Chisholm leading off would once again get a couple of hits in this one. He went 2 for 3 on the afternoon. As for Lucius Fox, still looking for his first hit as a professional baseball player, he would go 0 for 4. Good news for him is that he gets another shot at it. Two teams are going at it again this afternoon. Lucius in the starting lineup once again at shortstop. Jazz with the day off. We'll see how this one turns out, wishing that Lucius can hopefully get his first hit of the regular season. On to some other news, where currently one of our local track coaches hoping to get some motivation in terms of financial motivation, getting some of his team members off to a trip in Florida. That's coming away in July. Now the squad will be headed to an AAU event. Head coach Theodore Hanna has been working diligently with his group, trying to make sure they're all set. And he says so far things have been going well.
Well, we're looking at traveling July the 9th. We're going to be over there for about 2 weeks. You know, the tournament takes place that whole week into the weekend. So around about the 16th, 17th, we might be done. It's based on what all events we would have signed up for, because it could lead into that Sunday also. But we try to leave that following week. So July the 9th, for about a week and a half there or so, we'll be heading to Orlando, Florida.
And back to baseball, where one of our local high school baseball players, Malik Foster, recently signing a letter of intent to head to Barry University right there in Miami, Florida. Malik, who was one of a long-time journey to try and get to this point, spoke about how it all turned out in front of a small crowd of family and friends. His father, Mike Foster, a longtime quarterback for the pros back in the day, very proud. His mom also on hand. All in all, it's a good day to be a baseball player as Malik Foster now headed to Barry University. And that is your check on sports for you here on this Thursday. I'm Marcellus Hall. Back to you.
The upcoming Spotlight on Digital Transformation series delves into COVID-19's impact on the economy. Here's a clip from the upcoming show.
How do we move forward? When it comes to infrastructure like ours as an organization where we are in the entertainment and connection business, we too have to take a look at what are we going to do to invest in our own infrastructure and upgrades, to allow our team members to have a greater level of flexibility, but also our customers who have become conditioned to a different level of gaming, a different level of watching TV, a different level of working or way of working.
Be sure to tune in this Sunday at 8 p.m. for Spotlight on Digital Transformation.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
Still to come, a look at the tropics is up in our extended weather report. And the Balmoral Club wants to attract young professionals. That's coming up when our news returns.
Got size at 6'5". Hi, this is Shamik.
Welcome back to our news. And now here's Greg with a look at the extended weather forecast.
Thanks again, Megan, and welcome back, everybody, for our second look at weather. That ridge of high pressure that's been dominating our weather is slowly sliding out towards the east. That's paving the way for a frontal boundary now across central Florida, dropping into our northwest Bahamas late tonight and into tomorrow. So Grand Bahama, the Abacos, you expect some showers in the forecast late tonight, and also across the northwest Bahamas as the system drops into our area. It's eventually going to stall and weaken into the weekend, but behind that, high pressure will build in, and that will generate some breezy conditions for the weekend. So beaching and boating will become once again a challenge during that time frame. Boating forecast for the northwest Bahamas, those winds will start off southeast to south at 10 to 15 knots. They will fall light and variable at times. Your seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Your high tide will be at 7:22 tonight. For the central and southeast Bahamas, we expect those winds to be southeast to east at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be running 2 to 4 feet over the open waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your 7-day forecast through next Thursday. Showers in the forecast tomorrow, and then we expect some breezy conditions for the weekend. Make it a great night, everybody.
When most of us think of a membership club, we automatically think high-priced, ultra-exclusive. But tonight, Jerome Sawyer introduces us to a facility that is targeting young professionals with a unique, affordable experience.
The property offers one of the luscious, tranquil experiences on the island. Sprawling green lawns, serene patios, and charming indoor spaces. The clubhouse, formerly known as High Tor, has a distinguished history. The Beatles filmed a movie on premises, while Robert Mitchum and Prince Charles once took up residence here. Welcome to the Balmoral Club. Nowadays, it's home to many of the town's top-tiered events, big and small. But hidden beneath the alluring landscape and opulent venues is a very unique opportunity, a membership club targeted at young professionals.
We are reaching for and trying to cement in the minds of young professionals and mature professionals that here's an opportunity for what we call a lifestyle.
And that lifestyle includes access to a 24-hour gym, pool, tennis courts, meeting rooms, and dining room and bar. Now, into 10 years of operation, president of the Balmoral Club, Dwayne Mortimer, admits they are evolving from mainly hosting events into catering to members.
You go where the money is, right? And weddings and events was where all the money was making at the time. But we are a membership club first and foremost. And the events are side stuff. That said, as we continue to grow and build the membership, we will do events of a different nature, which will be geared towards the members and geared towards different types of members. I think the best way I could put it is, I'd like to see regular events that bring the 50, 60, and 70-year-old together with the 20 and 30-year-old.
Unlike the more well-known membership club brands, the annual $1,000 membership fee makes it uniquely affordable to a whole different market, offering another kind of experience from the other brands.
I think the awareness is a lot greater than it was 20 years ago when we started Old Fort Bay Club. So I think they're coming to appreciate it, and based on our recent pickup and membership growth, it seems more and more are becoming aware.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jerome Sawyer.
Thank you so much for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepard. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Until then, have a wonderful evening.